The internet is dominated by a range of absurd conspiracy theories, from the classic Roswell UFO incident to the flat Earth to shape-shifting lizards having infiltrated governments around the globe. The lives of average citizens are fatigued by an overabundance of conspiratorial idiocy. However, there are some theories, though far and few between, that are well thought out and developed, despite how wrong they might be. One of those is the Finland Conspiracy. That's correct, a cohort of internet users subscribe to the belief, or at least the promotion of the belief, that Finland does not exist. In late 2014, Reddit user RareGan came across a submission in r/askreddit. The submission asked, "What did your parents show you to do that you assumed was completely normal, only to later discover that it was not normal at all?" At first, RareGan responded with a simple answer. "My parents never believed in Finland. I grew up to never believe in Finland until I researched it further. It's a pretty heated topic in my family." Soon, another user asked why. At this point, the Finland Conspiracy was born. RareGan responded in an extended comment, including many of his parents' talking points. Eventually, as it always does, the internet picked up on these talking points and created spaces like r/Finland Conspiracy to discuss the theory and expand upon it. To start, let's make something clear. The conspiracy states that by the phrase Finland doesn't exist, it is meant that the entire landmass of what we know to be the country Finland is actually absent from its supposed location, and there is only a larger extension of the Baltic Sea in its place. The origin of this conspiracy to fool the world into believing in the existence of a Finnish landmass apparently originated after World War II, when Russia was facing a food shortage. Supposedly, the Japanese came to the Russians and made an agreement to allow the Japanese to expand their fishing to the waters of the northern Baltic Sea. The Japanese would use the Trans-Siberian Railroad to transport the fish back to Japan, and the hungry Russian populace would get a share of the fish. In the meantime, the two countries would keep their operations in the northern Baltic Sea a secret by convincing the world that there was no northern Baltic Sea, but instead a landmass called Finland, with a government and a population. The Japanese would disguise the fish imports as Nokia products. Of course, Nokia is Finland's biggest company, and Japan is a major importer of Nokia products. But since Finland isn't actually real, it is determined that Japan created the Nokia company as a facade to disguise their imports of fish from the area where Finland is supposedly located. Russo-Japanese relations would continue to improve due to the shared secret, for even when the Soviet Union's international relations were crumbling towards its downfall, Gorbachev would continue to make trips to Japan and state how their relations were strengthening. Over time, the entire international community would join Russia and Japan in the promotion of the Finland lie, and its non-existence is now an internationally protected secret. You'd think that a problem would be created by the presence of actual Finnish people claiming to live in Finland today. However, the conspiracy was made to fabricate the entire Finnish culture, with the people within it falsely believing that it spans back centuries. Even the Finnish language was fabricated by the Japanese. In fact, Finnish has distant linguistic connections to indigenous Japanese languages. Finns genuinely believe that they live on a landmass called Finland, but they have been led to believe this by society. So-called residents of Finland actually live in towns close to the eastern border of Sweden, the western border of Russia, and the northern border of Estonia. In addition, everyone who travels to cities like Helsinki, Finland, are actually going to a city in Sweden that claims to be in Finland. The argument is that it's not like the passengers flying there would notice. Global positioning systems have all been altered by the international community to show that a person is on the landmass of Finland while they're actually in Sweden, Russia, or Estonia. The fabrication of all the locations in Sweden was an easy task for Russia and Japan because of two reasons. 1. There are only 5.5 million Finns, so it wouldn't be impossible to convince them all. 2. 75% of the fictional Finnish landmass is forest, so there are not many urban centers to replicate in the first place. Those who promote the Finland Conspiracy make it clear that they do not wish to insult the Finns by denying their culture. They say that it is obvious that a culture will be constructed when there are a few million people identifying as Finns. It's just that the landmass isn't there. Also, satellite images and old maps have all been doctored to insert the Finnish landmass into the northern Baltic Sea. The enormous conspiracy is built around human nature, how we tend to want to stick to societal norms, how the average person tends to dismiss ideas that suggest that a part of society is not conforming to what we see as normal. If someone were to say that Finland isn't real, the average person would burst into laughter at the ridiculousness of the statement. Even if the hardest evidence was presented alongside the statement, the average person would opt to follow social convention. After all, it's just another internet conspiracy theory. Fortunately for this one, it's clear that the vast majority of the people who promote it do so ironically. Unfortunately, that doesn't appear to be the case for many others.